sheriff's office had a crime scene there. They were looking for the body was about looking at. Went in the bushes. We've been there for about 3 days. Why? Let me tell you what. Had already some decomposition had started underneath the body. I can see, look, it does not take long. It's 100 feet away. So I did that one. I gave back the wound. And they were looking for a fire. All that over here, not because he's carrying a knife and hell on it. I don't remember that. It wasn't in the place. On the north side of the city. But it was in the bushes. I don't know where he gave up on it. He just wanted cookies a day on. There's nothing wrong with the other brag. You know what they told me today when I was in there waiting to find out who was going to be Jacksonville? I was the last person they called that night. So there was only one person there. That was the blonde. Just as cute as she could be. So we got up, we sat down, and we started talking. Okay, so what I don't know a whole lot about dancing or anything. I said, I've done a lot, couples dancing, yada, yada, yada. She said, well, I can teach you, it's not a problem. So what are we going to do? She said, well, I'm a professional belly dancer and instructor. You got some of that mixed in. It looks like you washed a white one with that first and with this one the next time. Yes, it was cold. Okay, I guess it's time. Are we hot?
We're hot.
Yes. Hot.
We're hot.
It's warm in here, but it's not hot in here. Not yet. It's going to be hot in here, but we probably have to turn the heat off in a second moment because it gets hot real fast in here.
I'm monitoring
even though it was 63, even though it was 63 degrees when I walked in here. Good morning. I'm Rachel Brown.
Chilly. That's crazy.
I've already introduced.
No, you haven't.
Yes, you just
did.
did.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, I'm Kelly Knapp. Sorry.
And I'm Lee Barrows.
Kelly.
I'm all in the uproar today.
Nap, would that be as in napping?
No, that's irritation.
She's got a rant. Wait a minute. Okay, I need to go refill my coffee cup.
You go ahead. We'll be gone. We'll be back in a while. How long will it take you?
Go ahead and give you the show. Give you the floor, Kelly.
I'm mad about it.
What are you mad about? Uh-oh.
All right, go with her.
She's clearing her throat. Watch out, guys. Yeah. Incoming.
So, I better drink some water for this.
Oh, no.
I need some strong water.
Mercy. Reminds me back during the Iraqi war. You know what you call an incoming Scud? Remember those things?
I'm a Scud missile this morning.
But I can't say it on the air.
I know what I would say, but go ahead.
You know, a lot of things have been said online about Doge, and what they've been doing.
Well, three of us are going to be on a rant today together there.
Okay.
I think.
So, and I want to premise this by saying, and I've said it on here repeatedly, and y'all can go back and find old broadcasts where I've said it. I have not ever been, nor probably ever will be, a huge fan of Elon Musk.
Neither
and I have to say, when it was first announced that he was going to head Doge, I did question it. I 100% did. I was
we all blasted it.
Yes.
But not too publicly.
And I said, I don't know what's happening. Why is this? And at first I was very concerned that he was going to be inserting himself too much in our government. And I'm not 100% that I don't think that, but I know Trump's ego is not going to let him outshine him. So there's that. But Doge, surprisingly, has been uncovering a lot of things, wasteful spending by the Biden and probably Obama administration, and I bet it even goes back to Clinton, because this stuff I don't think just popped up in the last 4 years. So
Nope.
let me say that I don't think this is all Biden. I think it has been happening for a long time, and it just went passed down from group to group. But last night, when I read the latest discovery that $59 million has gone to put illegals in New York City hotels, fancy ones at that. That's where I draw the line.
We brought that up yesterday, and we were only on the tip of the
We
iceberg
didn't
with
know a
it.
whole lot about it.
Yes.
And the more I think about it, the madder I get, for quite a few reasons. And let me say this, okay? I'm getting a little annoyed at them being called immigrants, because they're not. They're illegals. An immigrant is a person that migrates
Your
to this
forefathers
country.
and mine.
My grandparents came here as immigrants because they filled out the paperwork. They did it the right way, okay? These people are illegals, and let's make that very clear, okay? They are illegals. They crossed that border illegally without filling out paperwork.
Make them a criminal
So
by definition.
So I don't want to hear y'all crying and whining that we're calling them illegals when they're not. No, they are. But my biggest issue that I have is the fact that $59 million should have been spent on an American citizen. I said citizen, a person in this country that is an American, not somebody from some other country that crossed our border. You know, I have a problem with the amount of homeless that we have throughout the United States. You go to any major city, look at the people sleeping on the sidewalks at night, literally in cardboard boxes. I've witnessed it myself. Look at how many homeless veterans we have, but not just veterans, homeless in general. Homeless isn't applied just to veteran, it's to everybody, okay? Do you know in Onslow County, 200 homeless children that are in Onslow County schools that are either sleeping in their cars with their families, they're lucky enough to be able to get a hotel periodically, and have churches sponsor them, or they're literally couch surfing from home to home. These are children in our county. Where's their $59 million? Where's their hotel vouchers? Okay, somebody tell me. And then somebody also please tell me where the people in Asheville and not even Asheville, Shenandoah. Let's go with that. Where's their $59 million? These people are living in tents.
In the
They're living
wintertime.
with dirt floors. It is cold. It is ice. It is snowing up there. Okay. They don't even have anything. They are running power out of propane tanks. Some of them don't have power at all. And how do you know? Because I have a family member that's working with the group up there, and they go up there every couple of weeks. I've seen the photos. I've seen where these people are living. Do not let some of the photo ops fool you. Where is their $59 million? Where's money for people who were displaced even during Hurricane Florence that still don't have their houses fixed? Where's their luxury housing? Okay. I want to know. And I want to know who remotely in this country or even in this area thinks this is okay. Where's one person that says, well, I agree with $59 million going to a luxury hotel versus our own citizens? Mm-hmm. Until we get our homeless population dealt with, until we get our drug problem dealt with, until we get our situation dealt with just with society in general, I don't want $2 going to any illegal. Not $2. None of it. We have too many things to fix. Crisis that is off the chain. $59 million goes to states to build general hospitals, which we need for mental health. You know, it is hard to get people into long-term mental health or even significantly short-term mental health, even in this state.
Because they don't have it for number one.
Well, it's because there's nowhere to put them.
That's right. It's not there.
But this money would go towards health. Let's find some of these shut-down prisons that we have, and we do have them. Because remember, what administration was it that started shutting down prisons? There was one of them. Was it Obama?
You're talking about, there are state prisons in North
Okay,
Carolina.
let's go with state
They were
prisons.
shut down by North Carolina.
Yeah.
And
Who was it?
you know why they were shut down? I forgot who it was, but you know why they were shut down? Because there were not enough inmates. Why were there not enough inmates? That
weren't-
goes back to the
Yes, don't get me started about
judicial
that.
system
Yes.
that did not want to put them in prison where they
Yes.
belong. That's why.
So
Go ahead.
whatever, let's find those prisons and let's take some money and renovate that as a place to put people that need mental health treatment that cannot get it.
Mhm.
Let's do that. But I'll be damned if I want $59 million of my taxpayer money that I work my tail off to go toward these illegals. Not one dime.
Hopefully, it's all New York money, and I feel
Oh,
bad
it
for the
is
New York
not.
people.
It
But
was,
you can
it
rest
was,
federal.
New
it
York
was
is
FEMA money. We talked about that
Yeah, New
yesterday.
York is already
Luxury
requesting more and
hotels.
more and more and more money from the
Yes.
feds. That means me
So,
and you.
so
Who we
I
got this
want to, we don't know.
Kathy Marks. Yeah, we talked about yesterday luxury hotels housing immigrants.
I'd like to stay in one of those. No, not in New York. I don't want to stay there. Good morning, Kathy. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How about
Hey,
you?
girl.
Well, we're trying to throw a little cold water on Kelly here.
Oh, I'm over it
I
now.
might have to turn the heat down.
I'm calling in for Kelly because I was listening to her and I was like, you know what? I said, so I Googled it, and Kelly, you are right on. Because it says the term illegal immigrant is a derogatory and inaccurate term.
It's 100% accurate.
Says whom? Who,
Yeah.
who can claim it's is it improper? Is it an accurate description?
No, it is not.
They're not. So they're not U.S. citizens, but they're in this country.
well-
And how did they get into this
well-
country? Illegally.
Well,
Therefore,
well,
they are illegal.
Now, wait a minute, there is a legal immigrant,
Mhm.
and they entered the United States following an important law and procedures the host country. They receive an immigration visa or other protections such as asylum and refugee status. That's illegal. Enter there without and call what they overstaying their visa.
Yeah, that's right. Well, when they do that, they become a
that's an
criminal.
illegal- yeah, well, those are the illegal, unauthorized immigrants. But we do so. So Kelly, I'm gonna. Yeah, I just wanted to call it because there is a difference. And once the second category, they got to go. When that wall went up, they should have stayed on the other side. So I'm all with Trump. Send them back.
Yeah, they do.
So,
Well,
yeah,
we need to blame Trump for most of it. You know that, right?
well, in the beginning, when he built the wall, keeping them on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to blame the regime, Biden and Kamala, on letting them in, and they should have just pulled the bus up and delivered them off at her house.
Yeah.
And let her deal with them because now it's something that Trump has to deal with. So it's falling back on his lap. He started it, now he's got to finish it.
Yeah. Coming up in
So,
about
yeah,
20 minutes, we're going to be talking to our congressman about that. He'll be joining us.
Oh, that's great. Good. Well,
Dr.
it'd be good to
Greg
hear his standpoint on it.
So we got questions for him this morning, and a lot of us going to have to deal with this Doge, or whatever they want to call it, process.
Yeah, yeah.
And
there you
what he
go.
thinks about it, and why don't we get something? Why did it take this long to get this far? We've got 535 elected representatives up there in Washington, excluding the president and vice president. We've got 535 of them, and they were there year round. I mean, they've been there forever. Why haven't they done something about this problem? Did they not know it?
Well,
We're going to talk about it.
the more people you get hands in the pot, the worse it gets. The one that still gets me is there is still a standing law in this county that just absolutely cracks me up, and it is still legal on Sundays at noon to take your wife down and beat her at the courthouse. That is still on the books, and I'm like, hello.
Well, she probably would beat me, but I'm not going to do that.
I'll help her.
I know it, but I just say that the more hands they get in the pot, the worse things. The things just keep getting worse. So, I'm interested. It'll be interesting to hear his intake on all this. And
I think that law about beating your wife or tying up somebody with a rope no bigger than 2 inches in diameter, I believe that has been repealed. I haven't checked lately, but I seem like I recall that in one legislative session they went through and cleaned up some of that stuff. I'll double check it.
Yeah, double check that for me.
Yeah, I will do that.
Yeah, when I went through college, they still called, they would call that law, and I'm like, oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, I back in studying in law enforcement, we studied the criminal statutes primarily, but I think had been repealed then. I think they had a certain. I'll check it. I'll double check that one. But anyway, okay.
Well, because if it's still on the books, I think that on Monday, the wife has the right to beat the tar out of him.
Well, she won't be able if he beats the tar out of her on Sunday.
Kathy, all you have to do is call me and Kelly for backup.
I'll call you and Kelly. How about that?
That's what I'm saying.
Chris will be running for the county line. Is what Chris will be doing.
South Carolina, it's legal. I didn't find anything for South Carolina.
So,
Thank you, Kathy.
That's good. You guys have a great day.
Right.
You too.
You
too, Kathy.
Did you notice that snowfall we had just 3 weeks ago?
Don't say the S word.
Did you know that just came about the time that Trump got inaugurated? Those plane crashes that we've had,
Don't you?
all of them.
Here we go.
One right after the other. A Learjet ran into a Gulf Stream on the ramp at the
That was a hot mess yesterday.
Scottsdale Airport yesterday.
Yeah.
One person was killed, at least one. They had another one they were having, some issues with. All of this since Trump's been in office. Maybe it's the Trump administration's in-depth dive into the giveaway programs that's costing taxpayers billions of dollars every year with little to no return on our investment. I want to talk about this for just a second. You know what ROI means? I came from a business where ROI was important. It's called return on the investment. In any business, a profiteering business, any business that wants to make a living, wants to make a profit, they call it, whatever they do, they want a return on their investment. If they buy new trucks, they got to show that we can pay for those new trucks, and there's something that these new trucks will do for us to guarantee us a return on our investment. That's what it's all about. We hear a lot about it when big business wants to do business, right? Too many employees making too much money for the work that they do, paying too much for the toys, clothes, or anything else they sell that keep them from making a profit so they can stay in business. That's return on the investment. If the return on the investment is bad, then that's bad for business. Return on investment is a profitability ratio used to measure the profits, amount, or rate of return generated by an investment. That's the definition. Whenever the return on investment is positive and in the normal range of how much do you think a typical return on the investment is for any business that is good? How much do you think is good, percentage-wise? 5 to 7%.
Is good.
It's not a 50% return on your investment unless you're stealing. 5 to 7% is considered to be a good return. If the ROI exceeds 10%, it's considered to be a strong return. Below 4%, that's when businesses need to re-examine, except when the government is involved. Not net a good ROI on projects it invests in. It simply charges more taxes. Our government does not have money. It takes money from us. When $32,000, here we go now, you ready for this? When $32,000 of taxpayers, my contributions and yours, are used to produce a transgender comic book for kids in Peru, when $1.5 million was used to promote DEI in Serbia,
Preach.
how many of y'all know where Serbia is or can name anything that's produced in Serbia that benefits us? Huh? Can you even conceive that our money went to produce a transgender opera in Colombia, aka South America's drug capital? $47,000 of our money. $47,000 of our money. The Elon Musk led Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE or Doge, has revealed millions of dollars of wasteful spending in its short life. A DOGE lawmaker is blowing the whistle on, we just had a Super Bowl, right? Over $1.2 million worth of federal funds spent on studying the drinking and sex habits of Super Bowl watchers. Yeah, they want to know if there is any more binge drinking on Super Bowl Sunday and whether there is a spike in births 9 months later. This is a National Institute of Health study. Oh, Fauci. Using our money And NIH has been conducting these studies for a lot of years. Doge claims it canceled federal subscriptions to the New York Times. What? Why did we have them? Cut off funding for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and terminated millions in consulting contracts. Musk revealed over the weekend that payment approval officers at the Treasury Department were instructed in the past to always appropriate payments even to known fraudulent or terrorist groups without bringing it to the attention of the Congress. What I want to know, what we should demand to know, is who instructed Treasury, DOD, DOJ,
IRS, and it
or
goes
any
on.
other federal
HHS.
groups to authorize payment for these ridiculous expenses. Who authorized them to pay it? The
Right.
ones here are the small change charges, the ones that did not raise red flags, the ones that have slipped it by for decades without being challenged. And all of us need to care about it. Who cares about $1 million here and there? Not many people. They don't even pay attention to it. Billions of dollars are on the table. Have you considered how much $1 billion is? 1,000 people, each with $1 million, is $1 billion. Well, those small $1 million giveaways may be nothing but chump change to bureaucrats, even to our congressmen, but I care. I care. Those hundreds of thousands add up to the millions and billions of dollars, the ones that Kelly's been talking about. $59 million? Billion dollars. Was it million?
Million.
$59 million to house criminal aliens. They are illegals, therefore they are
luxury.
criminals in New York City. It's bound to put a crimp on a lot of our government agencies that employs people to look for places to dump our money. You know what? Could you spend $1 billion? How long would it take you to spend it for yourself?
$1 billion?
$1 billion.
A long time.
A long time. It'd be hard. You'd be hard put to buy enough for you.
Only
$1
for
billion.
myself?
You and your immediate family. $1
I
billion.
could spend it.
Well, Rayford, when we were talking about this yesterday and all the money that went to housing the immigrants in
New York.
New York, we also discussed the fact that there were a lot of luxury hotel rooms that stayed vacant
Yep.
the entire time,
Just
and
in
they
case.
were getting money for that too.
Well, yeah. Well, empty beds, they're not being paid for.
Yep.
I mean, we had that here in Onslow County. We have an ex-school board member who cost the county money and didn't show up to
like
stay in the place.
$1,000 or something.
I don't know
like
how
that.
much it was. A motel room wasn't that much, but I don't care how much it was. $50. He should have coughed it up. He didn't do it.
Yep.
But he still got paid. That's the
Get
problem.
reimbursed, yes.
That's the problem. There is one area where we must be careful. Research. In the field of medicine and diseases especially, a lot of money may seemingly be wasted because the actual ROI may appear to be very low. It takes a lot of trial and error. It should take a lot of trial and error. Trials are years in the making to produce a cure for the many diseases that we encounter. If the Food and Drug Administration would actually do due diligence on new drugs that are released or try to be released, and especially on drugs and foods already coming into this country from other places around the world, and actually put a stop to the junk and dangerous stuff we get, then perhaps we would be safer. In my opinion, that would be money well spent. However, a lot of studies by independent groups have been done, for instance, on imported seafood. A study a few years ago showed that only 2% of seafood being shipped into this country was inspected. In other words, 2 pounds out of every 100 pounds was actually checked by the FDA. Now, if both of those 2 pounds, that 2% was okay, that would be one thing. But 50% of it failed. Half of the food that was inspected that came into this country failed. Did they get rid of the other part? Nope, they did not. They just got rid of the tainted stuff that they inspected.
I'm saying bring in RFK.
2 pounds had to be dumped. The problem was that the 1 pound that passed was okay, and the other 98 pounds was allowed but never checked. Logical mathematical reasoning, we don't use it much, would say that 50%, 50 pounds of all of the seafood that we inhale that is imported is not good for us. It's not fit for human consumption. 99 pounds makes it to the seafood markets, the grocery stores, wherever you buy your seafood that says imported, watch out. If the tax dollars used to produce transgender comic books or operas in other countries was used to make sure the foods that we import are safe, I would be good with that. But we don't do that.
Rayford, did you ever have to wonder how far back this has gone?
I told
And
you,
how
it's all
much
on.
money over the years
Way
after
before our
years.
time, way
And
before your time.
I would like just know these things that we've been discussing, the different money that went here and there. I'd like to know under what administration was that approved and how long we've been doing
It
it. I
wasn't-
think we have the right to know.
It was not done all at one time. Those comic
Exactly,
books
yes.
were one time. The other things were a different time, and they were
Right,
approved by
right, but-
different committees and never had to get full Senate or congressional approval. It was just, here you go.
I
This is a
want to
good-
know
This is a good deal. Trust me.
when it was approved. I want to know under what administration it was approved. I'd like to be able to see an audit go back years and years and find out exactly how much money we've given away.
We'll
instead
all
of
be dead
keeping-
and gone by that time.
See, and people want to complain about Elon doing
It's
this.
going to get worse, y'all.
He has uncovered so much wrongdoing.
If he could find this in what, 2 months, 3 months, the most that he's been looking at this since
he
November?
walked into the Treasury Department in 2 days, had a long list.
Yes. I mean, this is low hanging fruit that he's found so far. This is just the low hanging fruit. Imagine when he gets around to doing a deep dive, if they'll stay off his back.
I mean,
Okay.
I'd say, and
Coming
you
up
know
in about
what?
5 minutes, we're going to be talking with our congressman about all of this. So
Mhm.
he's probably going to hang up on us now. So welcome to the 11th day of February, normally a month where it can be cold and pretty, or for about a week each February, very warm and spring-like. Wet, cloudy, foggy, rainy, and cold. Just doesn't compute to me. Must have something to do with global warming. The marine weather outlook out to 20 nautical miles, a bit of topsy-turvy weather for the next few days. Northeasterly winds 15 to 20 knots today, gusts to 25 this morning. Seas 4 to 6 feet, except 2 to 4 near shore. Sounds and rivers chopping. Tomorrow, northeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 3 to 5, 2 footers near shore. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop. Thursday, southwesterly winds 20 to 25, seas 5 to 7, sounds and rivers rough.
Today, rain likely, mainly after 12 noon. Otherwise, cloudy, a high of 45. Wind 6 to 8 miles an hour. Tonight, cloudy, low of 41. North winds 3 to 6 miles an hour. Tomorrow, and it's going to rain again tonight. Tomorrow, cloudy, high of 53. Oh, 40% tomorrow. Yikes. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, low of 50. Apparently no rain, which is a good thing. And then, Thursday, it's going to rain again, but it will be 74. But we will also have 24-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Nice.
Yeah, okay. Okay, we got a quick call here, and then we got the congressman coming up in a couple of minutes. Good morning. I think this is Charlie. Did I get the right number?
Hey, guys.
Yep, got it.
Hey,
Hey,
how are you?
fine. How are you?
You know what's going to happen with Elon Musk discovering all the corruption?
Well, they can't buy him off. I don't know what else will happen.
No, you're
afford
going to have just as many Republicans. The Republicans, the Republicans are going to be just as corrupt as the
Absolutely.
Democrats.
Yep,
The
I
whole
agree.
system needs to be. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said I agree with you.
The whole system needs to be. I'm going to be very careful. I say this because they may come after me. You got to burn down the whole system. You got to start from new. All of them are corrupt. Not all of them. Most of them are corrupt. I get a kick out of I think the average salary for like someone in the Congress or the Senate, I think it's like $200,000, maybe $300,000. How are these people worth $2 million, $3 million, $4 million, $20 million? They're all corrupt. You got to destroy all of them. The Republicans are just as disgusting as the Democrats. You got to get honest people in there. How is it going to happen? You're going to fix the system, but they're all corrupt.
Well, he's not wrong.
Here's the way that I'm going to define corrupt. Okay, I've only got about a minute here. The way I'll have to define corrupt here is that they go into office and they have a great plan, but then they have to turn their heads and look the other way time and again and again. They are promised that, for your little pork barrel thing that you want for Jacksonville, they want another chicken coop or something built. We'll take care of that, but you've got to agree to do this and this and this. Corruptness. They don't with the intent to become corrupt. They go in there, every one of them, with the same thing to make America great. Whether they're Republican or Democrat, they want to do that. In their campaigning, that's what they think. When they get in there, it's the swamp that sucks them up and makes promises to them, and that's the way they end up being as corrupt as everybody else. That's my take on it. We do have to go. We got a call coming in from our congressman in about 30 seconds or so. So you got about 30 seconds there, Charlie.
No, I mean, I agree with you. I think we can all agree you want people that are morally competent. I don't know what the word is, but I think you have incompetence, you have corruption on both sides. I'm a conservative, but I think so many of these people are absolutely corrupt. You got to weed them out. I don't know how you can do that. It may never happen. I'm going to listen to the congressman. I'll call you guys back later.
All right.
All
Thank
right,
you, Charlie.
Charlie. All right.
And I think, good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, guys. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Greg Murphy, 3rd District Representative, representing all of us here in the 3rd District of Eastern North Carolina. I keep forgetting how many counties that you now have. Was it 13 or 14?
13, I think.
Yeah. We've we consolidated a little bit since the last go round. Unfortunately, lost the other half of Lane, lost Lenore County, which really hurts because I really enjoy working with the folks over there. Now have all of Pitt County, whereas I only had a little portion before.
Right.
And I lost Camden and Currituck in the Finger counties up there. So we're more consolidated.
Yeah.
We're more leaner and meaner.
And you lost that one little sliver, I think. I'm not sure when that left the 3rd District of New Hanover County, which was basically UNCW, the campus itself. Was about all they had, I think.
We hadn't had that.
Oh, well, that was before my time.
Yeah. It was. It happened some years ago. But anyway, hey, we're talking about Doge, or anyway, Elon's place of habitat these days. And how could all this stuff get by everybody for all of these years? He finds it out in 2 weeks.
Exactly.
It's very interesting because I think that's a very fair question. When we get bills that have 1,400 or 2,500 pages in them 2 hours before we're supposed to vote on them, it's literally impossible to have all that happen. That said, this is a great thing that he is doing. He's taking a fine-tooth comb to some of the things that got added at the last minute or sometimes inserted by others, staff or something at the last minute that honestly we didn't know about or people didn't know about. And so, look, I'm all for just sunlighting the whole thing and letting us get rid of the nonsense. I mean, $70,000 for an Irish play on diversity or some of these other things. It goes on and on and on, transgenderism everywhere. Give us a break. The American taxpayer does not want to pay for that stuff. So my hat off to him. Look, President Trump is doing what he campaigned on.
Yes, he is.
Gosh, isn't that amazing? Isn't that quite refreshing that somebody in politics actually does what they say they're going to do?
It's about time.
I think it's great.
I love it. I'm so happy that we are not like New York right now with that $59 million for hotel bills for some criminal aliens. Y'all call them what you want to, but they are criminals the minute they become illegal. And the minute they cross our border illegally, they are criminals. Done.
Yep.
If you look at it from the justice system.
That's true. I've done a lot of work in some really tough places in the world, like, Haiti and Nicaragua and other stuff. And I understand people's desire in the United States because we're seen as that great beacon of light. That said, to your point is there's a way to do it legally. There's a way to come into the country where you jump through all the hurdles that other people do. And it is so shameful that we're having to do all of this work and spend all of this money to correct an administration that didn't have a president, but basically had staff running around making laws and making orders. And so, just shame on them for lying to the American people for 4 years. What's her name? The press secretary, Pierre, how did she get up and just lie to the American people every day? And so this is the cost of truth. So I guess, unfortunately, we're going to have to pay it.
And well, there's, top, and it works its way all the way down. But I think under Biden administration, it's probably it started near the bottom and worked its way up because he wasn't there. Literally, I don't think he was there for 3 of the 4 years, at least. He wasn't all there for the first year, but for 3 of the 4 years, he wasn't there at all. 20% at best.
I agree.
So, I mean,
this is one of the things where Jill Biden wanted to hold on to the presidency much. Shame on her.
Yeah.
We went to the White House for the Christmas thing. My wife wanted to go, and one of my kids was in town. And it is the White House, and it's Christmas, and it's supposed to be nice. I look much more forward to Melania's decorations.
With taste.
We went up and met the president, vice president, and it just took everything I had not to say something. But I was trying to be respectful of the office. But it just, this is after he lost the election, and after she lost the election, rather. Who knows who was running? Just a different feel. And hey, I'm delighting in the moment. I'm delighting in the mood. America's behind Trump, and he's doing what he said, which is great.
He is. How are we going to recover here in Eastern North Carolina? We've got people who need things like that $59 million from FEMA over there in the western part of the North Carolina. They could use that $59 million that goes to pay hotel bills, and many of those rooms are not even slept in for criminal aliens. What's going on? We've messed up somewhere.
Well, you mean with FEMA?
Yeah.
Well, FEMA is just symptomatic of what's happened with this federal government. This is why we need a reset. They've grown bureaucracy upon bureaucracy upon bureaucracy. And if you look at what has to happen, even the most knowledgeable person who has everything with them would find the process just exceedingly cumbersome and difficult to navigate. Good Lord, these people have lost everything, but you're asking them to come up with birth records or, so many records that they just don't have access to. And so that's why we're going to revamp these governments with these agencies. I tell you, when people give a sigh of relief that they know that, heck, actually the government is going to be working for them, it's going to be such a refreshing change. And it could not have come, truth be told, at a more critical moment. If Kamala had won, God, I think we could kiss our country goodbye. I really do.
It would have been a real problem. A major.
By the grace
problem.
of God, we are here, and we're not going anywhere.
This is. I'm not going to blame everything on Biden because this didn't start with Biden. It just got really apparent, and even very liberal-minded individuals could see there was a problem there. I think, but I remember running background checks in another life. And like in Philadelphia, one house in Philadelphia, I found, 11 occupants who had been living there over a period of a year, all with the same Social Security number. Now, you know what? If I can find that, how does that get by our Social Security, our Department of Social Security? How does that happen?
Well, it's pathetic. It's pathetic.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had a constituent bring forth a Medicare fraud that somehow had gotten past 2 levels of Medicare fraud at CMS to the tune of like $3.5 billion. but they didn't find it. And so, when you have, look, there are a lot of good folks in our government that are dedicated to the service of people, but sometimes you need an external eye. And this is what, Musk and his crew are doing, to come in and say, all right, let us look at things differently and find things that, are in plain sight. Yeah, it's frustrating. I understand people's frustration with it. Believe me, I carry it myself. I can't know everything that's going on in every department of every facet of this government. It's physically impossible. But I'm glad that, the people and Democrats, of course, don't like it because it puts a light on the fraud, waste, and abuse that they've been perpetuating.
Sure.
So it's okay to look back again. So,
when this first came up, my two partners in crime and I, Kelly and Lee, we said, this sounds kind of shady to me, but now that it's in progress, the three of us are, we're wearing cheerleader outfits. So
yeah,
I think it's going to be
I love it.
be pretty good. And I think one of my partners in crime has a question for you. You better watch out because she was on a rant at 7:00 this morning.
Hey, Congressman, it's Kelly. How are you?
Hey, Kelly. Good morning.
Good morning. I have a real quick question. So the Shelter and Services Program, which is where a lot of that $59 million came from, is there any chance that Congress can work and abolish that program?
Look, there's any program that we started can be abolished.
Yes. Okay.
All in favor? Say aye.
Yeah. I
Yes.
mean, without a doubt, there's nothing that is set in stone in perpetuity forever. You do things that have, excuse me, you do things sometimes that have limits that have to be reauthorized. But there's no program, other than the Constitution that is going to go on in perpetuity without reauthorization. So we reauthorize things all the time. We don't need to reauthorize everything. That's one of the difficulties with government is the Democrats usually will fight to start a new program, and then getting rid of it is 50 times more difficult. So
should be a sunset for every new program, period, bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Let the
that's
sun,
exactly right.
let the sun set. And do you have a doctor that you could see today? Because it sounds like you really need to see one. I got some fine down here. I got some fine folks here at Onslow Memorial Hospital, and we have one of their doctors in the house here.
CEO.
We got the CEO here this morning, so
Right.
maybe she could offer some,
Well, that's great.
because you've got a cough and a cold.
Well, no, it's actually, the truth be told, guys, it's much, much better than it was this weekend. It's been going around. It's one of these things we share between the staff. So,
Congressman Murphy, we can fix you right up.
There we go.
We can absolutely fix you right up. Come on down.
all right.
All right. And one question: do doctors make the worst patients?
Well, when I had my little surgery this past summer, I tried really hard to be a good patient.
You tried.
I'm asking Wendy.
Tried hard.
In
had
the
to
interest of
try.
full transparency, when he asked the question, I shook my
You
head
shook your
yes
head up and down,
vigorously.
yes.
I get it.
Gotcha.
But to your point, just about the money for FEMA, is that the money was intended for disaster relief, and Mr. Musk says, "Yep, it can be clawed back." So we'll claw it back.
Thank you.
What I want.
That's number one. Let's go for.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Murphy, thank you for taking the time this morning. I know it's sometimes it's rough to make these calls early in the morning, but I understand we're going to.
Oh, no worries.
We finally got you on a regularly scheduled program these days, as they say, every second Tuesday, I think it is, at 7:30 in the morning. So that'll be good.
Yeah. No,
Surprise.
I love doing these. That's why another way we can stay in tune with back home.
We do appreciate that. And of course, if there's anything that ever pops up, like I told your guy there, Mr. Crane, that all you got to do is you got the numbers. Reach out and give us a call.
And on a personal note, I'm sending you a text. I forgot to send it to you the other day.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's all good.
Okay.
He knows.
All right.
All right. Great.
Thank you, Doc. We'll see you. Get better.
Thank you.
Goodness gracious. Wow, he sounded kind of on the ragged side there. Take 2 aspirin, call me tomorrow.
He's had a lot of conversation in the house lately.
He's been yelling at the Democrats. That's why his
Well,
voice
that's
is
okay.
hoarse.
Then,
He's just been in there yelling
He's
at
been
him.
up
which I
there
don't
with that
blame him.
mic quite a bit.
Yeah. So that's all that is.
He's doing
Yeah,
good
he's-
work.
Yes.
raspy. Okay, we've got a guest in the studio here.
We have the chief, the CEO and doctor of Onslow Memorial Hospital.
She's the boss, is what you're
She's
saying.
the boss.
Okay.
You go, girl. Dr. Penny Burlingame Deal.
Oh my goodness.
She got it
Such
right.
a good job.
I could have done
See,
that.
he makes me do it because he's like, you do it.
Such a good job. Such
I'm
a
just-
warm welcome too. I'm going to tell you the
Oh,
welcome
little
crew
shock.
here
This
was
is our,
wonderful.
this is our
That's
nice little
shockwave.
thing.
Yeah.
We set up your mic specially for you this morning.
Oh, thank you.
If you will notice the color of the mic,
Yes, it's
Yeah.
the color of your shirt.
Yes, it is. I
So
made sure I matched.
We knew exactly what you were going to be wearing.
Perfect.
We checked it out.
Absolutely perfect. Well,
I
thank
can
you
buy
for
with the best
welcoming me
of them,
back.
Yeah, we started getting out of the car. Quick, get the green mic cover.
Okay. What's
Oh,
going
yeah,
on at
okay,
OMH?
Yeah, she was with us previously in the year of 2024. It's been time has passed since then, and told us about everything that was going on at the hospital.
Mhm.
And she kind of wanted to update us with the 2024 community benefit review that they had.
Okay.
A report and a lot of good things coming out of Onslow Memorial Hospital. And did you know that they were rated through the Daily News contest that they have, Pick Your Best, and they were rated the best hospital in 2024.
Okay, cool.
So,
So-
I really have to just speak to that because I'm so
Yes.
proud of that one. I'm not sure I should be so proud of it, but I am
Yes.
because it's 5 years in a row now.
Mhm.
But prior to that, being the only acute care community hospital in Onslow County, we never received it.
Oh, my.
We're the only acute care community
if-
hospital in Onslow County, and prior to
So-
5 years ago, never received that.
So
That's
if,
the best.
if only one team showed up at the Super Bowl and lost,
Yeah,
that's kinda what
that's
happened?
the same situation.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
Exactly.
glad that one's behind you.
Yeah.
Wow.
But 5 years in a row now, so we have. Yes,
So
we
who
have lucky
grades
that.
you? I mean, other than the Daily News readers in this case, but who grades you under normal conditions?
So anybody can vote. I mean, oh, you mean in addition to the
Yes.
Jacksonville Daily News?
Yes.
To win in the
You've got this special report out there that you're looking at, right?
Well, I could be looking at it. I'm not because it's all up here.
Well,
right?
same thing.
It's all up here. But I mean, we have a lot of different folks who actually rate how the hospital, performs and how they work. One of them is Joint Commission, so we are Joint Commission accredited. And there's also, just for example, last year, Get With the Guidelines for the American Heart Association. We won 2 awards for Get With the Guidelines last year. Last year as well, the Loan Institute. And the Loan Institute looks at like social responsibilities.
Mhm.
And so we actually won an A rating for cost efficiency, equity, inclusivity, pay equity. Actually was rated one of the top 5 in the state of North Carolina.
Okay.
So yeah, we did well in the award bucket last year. So I'm proud of that. A lot to be proud of.
I know that it's really tough in a relatively small community that we have here, but a small community with a lot of people for some reason or another,
And growing.
and definitely growing every year. It's tough to sometimes get doctors,
Yes.
specialists to come in here
Yes.
to work at a hospital, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there may be some specialists in the area, cardiologists, for instance. I've got one who's here, but I know you've had trouble getting cardiologists to be on staff, right?
Sure.
Still the same situation?
Yeah, there's, things like call responsibilities, and unless you have enough backup for that, it can become, really, really difficult to provide
Level.
that. Yeah. Yeah, it
Okay.
can be difficult to do. But, we have had quite a lot of success in recruiting as
Mhm.
well. So
Good.
general, we were able to recruit this past year Dr. Nikki Downs, who's a surgeon, breast surgery. So that's a new service line, actually,
That's
that
excellent.
we opened up this past year. We were able to recruit 2 additional surgeons, Dr. Fedorov, Dr. Kennerly.
Mhm.
And then we brought, Dr. Safley came back home I'm going
Okay.
to put it that way.
All right.
So, and then Dr. Safley as well rejoined. So this all happened last year, and we're beefing up our general surgery component. Service line.
And you're still looking for others, right?
Yes, sir.
Where do you find these folks who would like to come back here or
Well,
to come here?
some of them have retired from the military, which is wonderful. They love the area.
Mhm.
They are knowledgeable because we have the ability to actually have some of the folks who are in the military come over and work at Onslow.
Okay.
They provide, some intermittent coverage, or they actually work. We work in concert with the military to use our real estate, and they do surgeries there if they need to. So a lot of them are already familiar with the hospital, or familiar with it through their patients if they had an active duty or a dependent who had been referred for
Mhm.
some reason. So they seek us out when they retire, which is lovely. That's a wonderful thing when they actually seek us out. On the other hand, we're in this partnership with UNC. And I do think that a lot of the recruits who actually come to us are, they find it really desirable to know that the hospital is somehow affiliated with the larger health system like UNC.
Sure. Well, yeah, because you can get all sorts of good things back and forth,
Yeah.
and you're only a helicopter flight away, right?
Yes. And you know what our best recruiting tool is at Onslow Memorial Hospital?
What's
Staff.
Oh, is that right?
That's the best recruiting tool. When we bring people in to actually interview, whether it's physicians or nursing, or we make sure that we include the staff in one way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
They get to meet the candidate, and you get to see what our culture is like.
Mhm. And one recruiter that I was familiar with back in the 60s, he was a Coast Guard recruiter. And in the process of being sworn in to enlist in the Coast Guard, something came up that was extremely important. One other guy was being sworn in at the same time with me and Beaufort. His question was, hold on just a minute now here. How's the food in this here outfit?
Well, that helps.
Uh-huh. And the recruiter said it's the best food that money can buy.
Yeah.
I do. And the worst cooks in the world. Now, how do you compare? Food and cooks. That's going to be important because some of us, when we have to stay there, we want to eat.
So one tried and true at Onslow Memorial Hospital, you can ask anyone, has been the food at Onslow Memorial.
would
They
say-
love it.
Food is good. I mean, it was normal for a lot of us sometimes just to go over to the
That's
hospital
exactly right.
to have breakfast in the cafeteria or lunch.
That still happens.
Yeah,
Does it?
a lot
Yes.
of people
Okay.
go
It used to happen in Wilmington.
and it's cheap too.
The grilled cheese is good.
Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead and
I
say
love
it.
the breakfast.
Mhm.
Can you put some ham on that grilled cheese?
You don't need ham on it.
I
It's
do.
good.
I
I mean,
know.
they
You
put
can,
love
but you
in it or
probably
something.
don't need it if I
Yeah.
remember correctly from last year.
Yes,
Did you
he
have
doesn't
correct-
need it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Most
We're
every
telling you no. Sorry,
Boo.
Rayford.
the
Yeah.
cafeteria is good food.
It is
Change
very
the
good
name.
food. And the fries are good too. But yeah, we used to
Fries are
go when I worked over at County Mental Health, which is right there. We used to walk over there and go eat lunch in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Grilled
well,
cheese
so
and
now
fries.
we've solved one problem.
Yeah,
We
okay.
know that you got good food, y'all. Just go by and have breakfast or lunch or dinner.
They do a great job on.
Well,
they really do.
I have something I want to say to,
Coffee's good too.
to Dr. Dill. So I had to go last week to the ER I have a client in there and they needed me to come pick up something that a family member was going to come to the office because a family member has issues. They can't go, they can't be around any kind of sickness. So there was no way they could go there to pick it up.
Suppressed or
Yeah,
something.
it was badly. Yeah. I'm going to tell you what, I saw something I have never seen in my almost 30 years of living here.
She's getting me worried.
You this ER, I have never, it was like apocalypse,
Mhm.
seen it as crowded as it was
Yeah.
last Tuesday night. I have never seen it like
Once on a
this.
full moon.
People were literally almost standing out on the sidewalk. There was a line to get in, and I had to stand in that line to go to the front desk. And all I could think of was, oh my God, I'm going to get sick. Like, I could feel the germs swirling around me. I mean, they were busy.
Yeah.
But I love your ID badge thing. That is amazing. You have to get an ID badge now. I think it's awesome. Yeah, I
Carrie,
love
do
it.
Look
But
at his face.
and I know there was a lot of probably like flu or, RSV or whatever going around. And there was it was all ages. I saw babies, I saw elderly, I saw in between, people sitting on the floor. And the staff was just as friendly and they looked overworked, but they were taking it in stride. I mean, kudos to them. But I had a thought, and I know this is probably just a dream, and I think it would be amazing, but I don't know that it's financially feasible. It would be awesome to see Onslow So everything is on this side and there's a roadway and then there's like a retention pond and just trees.
Mhm.
I would love to see Onslow build on the right-hand side a building that's like almost like an urgent care, and then put a little sky bridge walking across over to the hospital, and cars could drive under it like they have, like UNC has that. I think that would alleviate the emergency room so they could deal with what an emergency room is designed to do. Cases or whatever, and just this big giant standalone building, because they were busy, and I give them props because all the rooms were full, and I know because I had to walk back to go to my client's room.
This is nothing new. Law enforcement has been doing it for years. They call it a holding tank.
Well, we're not trying to do that. We just want to get people, because nobody wants to go in 12 hours, but they have no choice, because one, where are you going to treat them? There's just nowhere to put them. And then all I could think of was, if someone comes in there in like a serious critical situation, my first thought was, oh my God, where are they going to put them? And it's not a hospital fault. It's just people are sick. There's a lot going around.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, no one seemed disgruntled in the waiting room, which is a good thing. Staff was very friendly. They directed me where I needed to go to the client's. Your ER is bigger than I thought it was, because I did not realize there was a whole nother, unless y'all have taken rooms from something, because my first thought was, wait a minute, isn't this the surgical wing? I don't know if you were just creating rooms.
That's what we were doing.
Okay. Because I was like, man, I don't remember the ER being this big.
So we've actually, you're correct. And it wasn't just last week. It's probably been going on for the last 2 months or so, where the volumes have been so excessive. It's not unique to us, right? It's really kind of nationwide, but definitely within the state, you're seeing just incredible volumes. And not just in the ED, it's throughout the hospital. So there were a good portion of folks who are waiting for rooms upstairs too. So, when that happens, you try to look at non-traditional space for the emergency department, and you utilize it.
You have to.
Yes, that's right.
And I was very impressed. I have to say I was very impressed. And I also have to say I was super impressed with the hospital. A couple of months ago, I had a family member was there and had to stay overnight. Excellent care. Excellent. I can't say enough good things about the care, because I was there, so I was there for it.
One of the things about a lot of EDs all across the country, and I've seen this before in other counties, you get a lot of people that they show up after hours. They likely do not have insurance. They see a medical doctor that other people would go see, even urgent cares or whatever. And they use the hospital as their primary physician, perhaps?
Yeah.
Does that happen?
Oh, sure. Yeah, that happens everywhere.
What is there a solution that maybe somebody up in our government could deal with that situation? So
some of that really actually helped, whether you appreciate it or not, just barring any kind of political views. But, Medicaid expansion helped a little bit with those around the insurance dynamic.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So it happened a little bit helped a little bit with Medicaid expansion. But when it comes to those patients who don't have primary care providers, it's really a function of access to. So do we have enough primary care providers in the community? So it extends beyond the four walls of the hospital as being the solution.
Those that could treat them without getting paid, you mean?
Or period, can treat them. We probably need, there's ratios out there that you can look, probably need more primary care providers.
Oh, I know we need more.
So that contributes to it. If they can't get in, if they're not, because you might actually pick up the phone right now and call a primary care provider and hear we're not accepting new patients.
Yep.
We do. I know that's a fact.
So
if you got one, keep it, y'all. If you don't have one, you don't need it right now, look for one so you'll get a regular checkup, get on the list.
Yeah. So we are actively recruiting for primary. That's how the hospital helped that, which is it's about access.
Well, you've welcomed 7 new doctors.
Yeah.
Including 4 surgeons.
Yes.
An additional radiation oncologist. You've added all of that.
Yeah. Anybody know at this table of Dr. Darrell Ross?
No.
Yes.
Okay.
I know.
I call him a force of nature.
Mhm.
He's our radiation oncologist who kind of helped to build the program that we have right now. He's so enthusiastic. He's just, if you think about it, right? So it's radiation oncology. Patient. What that patient and their family members are going through is terrible. It's extraordinary. And he manages to just take that human element and bring it back to the patients and their family and
That's
really,
great.
really make them understand that he cares. The staff do the same. They care about it. And they actually could function, serve as a cornerstone to build an amazing, additionally amazing, because we have some great med-onc providers here, but to help build upon a great start and a great future to oncology here. But we have, and not the least of which reason is Daryl Ross, we were able to recruit another radiation oncologist and Dr. Lord. So
Great.
I assume that there was a serious need for this, or otherwise you would not have been out looking for one,
That's right.
recruiting one. What, I guess you're probably not out there looking for a specialist in removing splinters from somebody's fingers or anything these days, but what do you need?
So cardiologist for sure. You
Right.
mentioned cardiologist. I'll also say gastroenterology is another probably big need.
Okay.
I mean, we have gastroenterologists in the community that do a phenomenal job, but we've had some retirements. And Dr. Leung retired. He was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
People loved him.
Yeah,
but
I had to see him a couple of times.
he's great.
Mhm.
Wait, thank you for keeping us in business.
Thanks a lot. That was not my intention at this point in my life, but it's.
I want you to be well, though.
Working out that way.
Well, I want to say something too. I know a lot of times people are critical of, and just in general, because it happens in my hometown as well, of the hospital. There's always going to be a complainer. But I have to say, I've been there for several surgeries. They were excellent. But recently, I don't know if I have time. They do a great thing when you need a mammogram. I will say that. And they're super accommodating. That's where I go to get mine. I didn't know they will book your appointment for 7 a.m. So you don't even have to leave work. I mean, but you won't have to, call out of work or it was awesome. I was there at like 6:55, got me in. I think by 7:10 I was out. But that is something they do that, in my opinion, helps people that may not be able to take off work so easy.
I'm glad
Excellent.
you said that because I
Yeah.
need to remind myself to make an appointment because exactly right what Kelly said. You've made it so easy for women to walk in, do it, and walk out in a matter of minutes. It's Charlie, and make it so easy, and it's also different now. I mean, we all used to dread it, the machine that just squishes
But they've got
you
that cool machine now.
Yeah, but now they have this new machine and new technology that
cool
makes
machine?
Yes, it don't look. You don't understand.
Rayford.
I'm sure
I
I
think
don't.
we could set him up.
Yeah,
just so he can experience it.
But now they have it's like 4D, I think.
Yes.
Yes,
This thing is
excellent.
awesome, and it doesn't hurt. You don't like you're about to lose a body part. Before it used to just smash it down. It hurt. It was painful.
Let's just take one of your body parts and put it in a vise, and that's what the old machines were like.
Yeah, but this one is. But I mean, even the staff, they're just so.
I've got enough to add to this.
But the fact that they are working to try to accommodate, out of the norm times. How many times can you be at the doctor at 7 a.m.? I mean, it just doesn't work that way. So I think it is awesome. Plus, that way, no one can say, well, I can't get it, I can't take off work, because you can go before you go to work.
Right.
And I don't know if they do late evening. They'll be like, Kelly, don't bring that up. But they are very accommodating. And I really appreciate that, because I was in and out. It was easy. Paperwork done, boom, and you get your results very quickly. And it went to my doctor, got the results, and I think I got them in the mail before the doctor.
Yes,
did.
yes, same way with
My
me.
doctor called me. I already got that. I'm cool. I'm
And then
good.
Regina's like, "Where's your results?" I said,
In my
I
wallet.
already got them.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
So I love that, and I tell
Thank you.
them, please don't stop doing that, because I think it is awesome.
Onslow Imaging Center for Women, they are also, they care.
Yes.
They absolutely care
Yes.
for their
They're
patients,
just
and that comes
sweetest.
across very
They're
much.
so nice.
But the radiology in the hospital too, I have to go there because I have to do a lot of the GI. I have diverticulitis, so I have to go a lot and have to drink that stuff, which is disgusting and gross.
Miserable.
And I want to say your staff there is, when I'm dry heaving in the corner, and I mean, I had the room cheering me. The staff was cheering me because it is so bad. And you have it's huge, and you have to drink it every 15 minutes for like an hour or two. It feels like a million hours. but your staff, like, they were very accommodating. They were, are you okay? No. Okay, you can do it. You know, very cheering you on, because you really want to just stop drinking that.
Yeah.
Then I got back. The little CT people were good. So you have amazing staff, amazing, everybody friendly people. You know, mopping. Do you know where you're going? I mean, and I've been to a lot of hospitals, and you don't. Kudos.
Thank
So
you.
what are doctors that you're recruiting, you're going after, what are they looking for? Obviously, somebody that's working at San Francisco General as a specialist is probably not going to look at Jacksonville.
So I think there's a couple things now, and it's going to be very different if you're looking at primary care versus any kind of specialty services. And for the primary care, I think what we're looking for, what they're looking for, and you meet in the middle, right? One is the recruits that come in, I think, recognize that it's a community hospital. Now, while they may be interested in the fact that it's a health system affiliated too, that plays into that. But I think one of the things that they're looking for is where they can make a difference. And you can make a difference as a recruit at Onslow Memorial Hospital, because you're what we talked about before. You're one hospital, one acute care community hospital, civilian, in the county. So you can make a difference. It's a mission. It's a calling to say, I want to work at a hospital like that. And the other thing when it comes to primary care is that the skill set is one that's very versatile. It should be very versatile. You can, see a broad range of things and not feel the need to rely on a specialist or a subspecialist, because you've got that as in your tool bag or your skill set. But so I think it's somebody who recognizes that this opportunity is one that is with the ability to really make a difference in a community, to be part of a community, that culture of really caring about those who are here. And then one that feels that they have this skill set that is very versatile. That's primary care. When it comes to the specialists, though, what makes them want to come here is they're going to do well. So do they have the patient base that is actually going to, keep them whole? So wherever they're coming from, or if they're coming right out of school. But the thing that keeps them from coming here, because I think that was one of your questions, is whether or not we have specialty or subspecialty support. So if you have somebody who wants to come here to practice and they rely heavily on pulmonology, or they rely heavily on, you heard me say that we were recruiting for gastroenterology, they rely heavily on GI, then that can be an issue. Because everybody that they're going to have, they're going to transfer out. It takes a team. Right. It really does. So you have to look at recruitment in the context of who's going to be recruited first. So you must triage who you're going to recruit to make sure that you can fill those specialty and subspecialty support.
How about urology and palliative care?
Oh, absolutely. Recruiting for that too. Urology is the same is true for gastroenterology, but we have gastroenterologists in the community. When it comes to urology, and the gastroenterology is already associated with the hospital. But urology, we don't have a urologist.
We lost a team.
That's right.
Recently.
That's
the
right.
last couple, 3 years.
That's right.
I'm having to go to Greenville.
Yes. So urology, you don't want to recruit just one urologist. You'd burn them out. You'd provide 100% of the coverage, and you just can't do that to one individual. So there'd have to be, really ideally at least two.
Right.
So now, if with UNC being affiliated, or Onslow being affiliated with UNC, and I don't know how this works, so if it is not feasible, what is it? Can people that are going to Carolina, that like residents, can they come and work in the hospital as part of their residency? I don't know if that's okay. So they don't have to just stay. Can you guys recruit from that?
I am going to knock this over for sure. There is, that's a future goal.
Okay.
So that is absolutely a future goal, but there are requirements that you have to put in place, just for like administrative check marks that you have to have in place before you can move forward with them actually, practicing.
Let them practice. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know, because we're 2.5 hours from that
Everywhere.
the campus. I didn't know how that worked.
It's a goal. It would be, because it's a goal in the future, because it would be wonderful to actually have some of the residents here who would learn. This is a different environment than what they're going to find in the Triangle.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah. Very transient here. Yeah.
We're very transient, but we also have a lot of veterans here. And one of the complaints that every veteran is the care that I don't get at the VA. I know they're building a VA facility here, a modern one that'll be outdated by the time they open the doors. It always happens that way. Why can't the local hospital and the VA hospitals get together, have a huge facility, and then they could combine resources? The
Yeah.
patients, the VA patients will come in for the doctors, but those doctors can treat other people too.
I would
They
love
can go
that.
back and forth.
I would love that.
I mean,
What-
why doesn't that make sense?
I don't
It
think
does
there's
make
a big
sense.
enough facility.
Yes, there is.
Where we gonna put it?
We can find places.
It seems to me, and this is just my view of the world. So I apologize if I'm misstating something, whoever's out there, but it's very siloed. So
I agree with that.
Oh, it
very,
is.
very siloed. So VA is just a silo on its own. The base is a silo on its own,
Uh-huh.
and it's really difficult to kind of cross over to where everybody's working in each other's space. You know, we've had some successes. I referenced earlier about the surgeon who actually comes and uses our real estate. That is a contractual arrangement that we put in place.
I had a surgeon come here and do my surgery twice. So I got it.
Yeah.
Yes, that happened. Yeah.
So that was years ago,
Mhm.
but it was, it's something that you had to do in a very prescribed way. And, so sometimes you do
Mhm.
get to the point where you can actually work something out, where
Yeah.
you're working together, but it
Yeah.
takes a lot.
I know you did it in 2010 because that's how I got my appendix removed.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Congratulations.
Yes, it was awesome.
You got any body parts left?
I'm telling you, I'm like the bionic woman.
All right, getting back to the list
We have a
of
question.
palliative care.
Mhm.
You were getting ready to discuss.
Yes. So I will say that one of the things, there's two things actually, that is a benefit to the UNC partnership
Mhm.
is the fact that we're able to leverage off of telehealth.
Yeah.
So we have been able to do that. COVID.
Yeah, Robin had that when he was in there.
Yes.
Yes.
So COVID did a lot of terrible things, but one of the things that it did was make telehealth a little bit more acceptable. And for rural hospitals or areas where it's difficult to recruit, you're missing specialties, subspecialties,
Mhm.
you can actually get those those specialties and subspecialties that
Mhm.
perhaps you would have a difficult time with, but through telehealth. So we have been able to leverage off that with
And that
UNC.
does help.
It really does.
Old
Whether it's
fogies
virtual
like
care.
me that go in that I say, I
wanna
I
see
can't-
someone.
I can't see my doctor. I can't show them where it hurts and how it hurts, and how are they going to see that over the telephone?
You show them.
Over the telephone, they can't
It's
see that.
it's a computer screen.
Same
Computer
thing.
screen.
They can see it. There's a camera. They see.
It's still a
Well,
telephone.
here's a question for you, doctor, from a listener. What are your thoughts regarding insurance companies denying certain procedures that the doctors that work under you, I think I'm trying to, procedures that the doctors that work under her denying procedures that they believe their patients need?
What he wants
we
to know
what
is
he's
this.
saying.
Yes.
When
It's
the
self-explanatory.
doctor
yes.
says Kelly needs this, and the insurance company says no, they don't. Blue Cross is bad about this, and I know this. How does the hospital handle that? Because it's medically necessary.
Sure.
Do they they appeal it, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we are not, and just as an aside, and for the insurance companies have actually become a little bit more, I'm going to use the word assertive.
Oh, I know.
Mhm.
I know.
Trying to find that right word.
Mhm.
A little bit more assertive about denials or,
Yep.
even the need for pre-auths or, so yeah, we're seeing more of that. The hospital feels your pain too, because they'll actually come back and challenge something that's already been done.
Yeah.
Okay, it's been done and, the service has been provided and the outcome was a good one. So, but you still find yourself in a place from the hospital standpoint where we have to defend it.
And I think the public would probably have a thought. The hospital's not going to, if it's life or death, the hospital's not going to not do something while they're trying to fight out with the insurance.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I think
That's right.
that's people's fear is,
Yeah.
well, the hospital's not going to, they're not going to do that.
So the other piece to this too is which I think is somebody alluded to it. But do we, when it comes to like medical debt,
Mhm.
Onslow Memorial Hospital has never gone after medical debt. There are some hospitals that actually sell their medical debt to outside companies to collect, and they some percentage on. We don't do that. We don't send people to collections. So I just want to
Mhm.
want to clarify that too. So, I mean, we're the again, the only acute care community civilian hospital in the county. We believe in that mission. So there are services that other hospitals would divest because.
So you guys are just gonna continue to kind of fight with the insurance companies on denials of care and for the good of the patient.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, doctor, what are some of your 24 through 26 strategic?
She's keeping us on track.
I know
Lee's
she
keeping
is.
us on track. I mean, we could go down a
trying.
path and
Yeah.
talk about mammograms and prostate
Yes,
exams,
yes.
Yeah.
but we're
Rayford needs a
I'm
prostate.
trying.
So yeah, there's some great things. I actually owe you all a thank you, because one of the things when it comes to the strategic plan, yes, we were focusing on core services, specialty services, clinical quality, recruitment, but we added last year community awareness and perception. So, a strategic plan should be a living document. And so we tried to update that on an annual basis. We came out, but I think you all were one of the first ones that I actually did to do this kind of community connection. So thank you for allowing me to come back.
Thank you for coming.
But yeah, I think it's been a great thing when it comes to making those community connections.
Right.
To bring the information about the hospital to the general public, like civic associations, or when you see on TV the Medical Minute,
Right.
or working with WRNS or Rayford or Beach Boogie and Blues. So it's really been a great thing to get the good word of the hospital out there and let
Right.
people know we're here. We care about you. You're our patients. We value you, and we value the fact that it is a privilege to care for all of you. And so it's good for me to be able to articulate that to everybody.
Some of your priorities for the upcoming years are core services like medical office building development, hospital transport services, expanding primary care and ambulatory footprint, specialty services such as the ambulatory surgery center development, medical staff recruitment and retention, clinical workforce recruitment and retention. We see all the time where you're recruiting, and you're having special events to entice people to come talk to us, like the axe throwing thing.
Oh, that was a lot of fun.
That you did a couple times last year. I mean,
Or Hop into Health, or
Yes.
any of the information that we
yes,
bring out there. Yeah. So we've actually put into place to try to kind of grow our own pipeline, or build our own pipeline for recruitment. We've got a CNA residency program, an RN residency program, I think a respiratory therapy assistant program, working in concert with the college to make sure that we can continue to bring folks in. It's interesting. I got a survey back, the survey results from American College of Healthcare Executive yesterday, just received it, and it identified the top issues that are out there right now for hospitals in the country. And it's typically financial pressures. Well, workforce retention and recruitment is actually surpassed financial right now. So everybody's struggling with that.
your focus is on the emergency department. What do you
Yes,
look
ma'am.
forward to there?
I look forward to trying to, so Kelly talked about how it was packed.
good.
It was
Yes.
packed.
So-
I've never seen it like that.
So we are back at pre-COVID levels and volumes. And so it is trying to really shine a spotlight on the emergency department and patient flow.
Right.
So what can we do better as far as getting patients through the ED quickly, but thoroughly, and then actually to get them up to floor beds too when they need to, in a manner that's
And one last question. What are
Sure.
some of the partnerships that you're looking forward to or striving to try to create?
Yeah, that's a great question. Let me just talk. I've already mentioned UNC a couple times, but history being the best predictor of future behaviors, right?
Right.
So we've been in a partnership with UNC since January 1, 2019. But I'm going to tell you, I've said this before too, they acted like partners before we were partners. If I go back to, I'm going to say the F word, not what you think, Florence.
Fine.
Flow.
Florence.
She let that flow right through.
Her Hurricane Florence, was devastating for so many people. Well, we were holed up in the hospital for days. And our education building was decimated. I mean, just destroyed, and we built it back up over time. But what I'll tell you is that, so we weren't in the partnership with UNC yet, but I got a phone call every day from our UNC counterparts in the command center asking, did we need water? Did we need pharmaceuticals?
Nice,
Did we need
We had
clothing?
31 inches of rain. We did not need any more water.
Yeah. We needed drinkable water.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that has consistently been who UNC is. And they're here to support care in this rural community. And if it means regionalization, so whether it's telehealth or others. So when we look at building partnerships, it's building partnerships with sister hospitals that perhaps are already in the system to benefit from regional care. Because UNC has a huge footprint.
It does. Expenses, I know they're overwhelming at times.
Yes, sir.
And I know an ED is going to be a very expensive operation. Now I got to get a little bit political.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there's a group of individuals that have swarmed this country. A lot of people calling it the Southern invasion of our country. How much of that is impacting the unpaid business at Onslow?
No, like I said, I think we actually have seen our unpaid business, the self-pay dynamic or demographic going down. And I attribute it, right or wrong, to Medicaid expansion coming to fruition. Okay. So we haven't seen that self-pay dynamic uptick at all. Now, there are other programs that are in place right now, have just recently been implemented. HASP, if you've heard of that, Hospital Access and Stabilization Program, came to fruition a year or two ago. And that takes a look at various communities. And if you have a disproportionate share of government payers, which we do, then they subsidize the hospital. So right now, I mean, you think about the government payers, right? They reimburse 30 cents on the dollar, about 30 cents on the dollar. Do you know of another business that could survive on? Nope. So there are, I mean, that's fine. We are here to serve. But there are some additional subsidies that are out there. And but we've improved as far as self-pay goes. I mean, I know we've had discussions here before. We've been up to 36 million, 54 million in uncompensated care, just charity care and bad debt, but that's gone down. That's actually gone down.
Good.
So. Nursing shortage. Is it still a thing?
It is significant.
Okay.
It is
percentage of travelers versus full-time?
Yeah, we utilize travelers. You have to make sure that you can carry out your mission every day. So we utilize travelers. I appreciate travelers, but they are expensive. So what we can do, I mean, we've had folks who function in traveler capacities that are close. They live close. So we've actually tried to talk them into staying. We have been successful with that. But yeah, we try to minimize the use of travelers to the best of our ability because, they're here for a little bit and then they leave.
If you would I'm sure you've looked at it because I'm not an economist, but I would look at it and say, you know what, we got that $10 an hour. We have to pay travelers double that, $20. If we split the difference and paid everybody $15 an hour, would we not be able to get more permanent party?
Yeah. So you want to make sure that you were at market, sure. Or if not, you want it to be competitive above market if you can. But we have created some really unique, maybe not unique, maybe that's the wrong word, but competitive programs that actually, so whether it's our own temps, we've actually created positions for our own temps, which pays at a higher rate, or float pools, or just various.
Does Coastal have a nursing program? I don't know.
I graduated from
did you?
Coastal's
Okay.
nursing program.
They do.
Quite a long time
I wasn't
ago.
sure.
Yeah.
I knew Carter did.
It's wonderful. It's one of the best you've ever
Look out for
seen.
you.
Yeah, I graduated. Actually, Onslow Memorial Hospital gave me a nursing scholarship.
Well, did you go to a university after Coastal Carolina?
I went to VCU MCV in Richmond, Virginia.
Right.
And then I went to UNC, Chapel Hill.
So
and then Medical University of South Carolina.
Skipping in the South.
So
Yeah.
did you ever practice private practice before you did this?
So no, I mean, I'm a nurse through and through.
Oh,
My
okay.
doctorate degree is in healthcare administration.
Gotcha.
That's
gotcha.
what I
Yes,
received at
yes,
MUSC.
Yes.
So, yeah, I've been at Onslow Memorial Hospital since
Wow.
day one. My husband was military; he was a helicopter pilot. So we
Oh,
moved
one of
to.
those.
Yeah.
No, what do you mean one of those? He needs to come here and let's talk.
Well,
So we had a brief break. We moved back to Virginia for 3 years, and then I came back and
That's
started work
amazing.
here again.
That gives a lot of credence to Coastal Carolina.
Oh, no, they're
Community
amazing.
College.
They're amazing.
It
Coastal's
does.
Coastal's nursing program
No,
is top
does
rate.
he still fly? I'm gonna go back to this one for just a second.
So, well, my husband passed away in 2009
I'm
from
sorry.
from colon cancer. So, so when I tell you that we're heartfelt about, I know what the patients have gone through, and I know what their families are going through.
Okay.
So I do.
It's all personal.
Yeah, it really is. So, I think building an oncology program that makes sure that you look at everybody
Absolutely.
is.
Because
Well-
a growing number of folks in this area are getting it everywhere.
Yes.
Everywhere.
and
Yes,
do you
sir.
guys recruit from Coastal?
Oh, yeah.
Nurses? I mean, nurses.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
Yes, we're in the process of setting up a program that really goes beyond the RN residency back to looking at kids in high school to say,
Yeah, because
look,
they have that. in
declare
yeah.
now,
Yeah.
right? Declare now, and
Mhm.
we'll cover your expenses from start to finish.
Really?
Oh, that's awesome. Because
As long as you
there's,
give us a certain amount of time
That's
afterwards.
exactly
I
right.
like that.
That's the way you get
yeah.
it.
It's
Well,
like
it's
kind of what
a-
the school system does with teachers too.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
'Cause,
great.
I mean, because there is a CNA program at the high school level. I know that because my daughter did it.
Yes.
So I know it
Wow.
exists. Okay. And you do have like a small like cancer wing, or I don't know, center,
Infusion center.
whatever it's called. No, well, not that. It's before you get to the ER. What is it called?
The Onslow Radiation Oncology Center.
That's it.
Yes,
Yes.
that's where
Very-
it is.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes, very beautiful. And I have some friends that go there, and they're very pleased. So
Okay,
Oh,
I
great
have
folks.
a question right here from a viewer. My mom was in OMH December 2023 due to a broken hip. Dr. Ramsey did the surgery, and they're complimenting Dr. Ramsey, saying he did an excellent job.
Good.
The care she received was excellent. However, we were told there was a shortage of nurses, and Kelly just asked that question, and you answered it. So, Rob, I hope you were listening.
Okay.
Very good.
Doctor, thank you. We appreciate your time
Thank
this
you.
morning.
I
It
so
has
enjoyed
been
it.
Hope we didn't wear you
great.
out.
No, I so enjoyed it.
Okay.
Thank you so much for
Well,
allowing me to be here.
Yes.
Thank you for coming in too.
Yes, thank you. It's great. The hospital, it just keeps growing and
does.
growing and growing.
Yeah.
Great, all the things that you've been doing to improve
So
it.
there, the
Thank
day
Great staff.
they opened it up, they broke ground. I was there the day
I
they broke
worked
ground.
security in the building when they were building it.
Well,
I
I'm-
walked.
Did
4 to
you?
Yes, when it
That's
was nothing but.
77, something like that.
So
I
we
was
just,
just out of high school.
last year we had our 80th anniversary for the
Yes.
hospital overall, but
Mhm.
we did a rededication ceremony. The hospital last year was 50 years old.
Yep,
And I got
was
my
there.
stitches at the old hospital.
well, I'm going to propose a parking garage. Just saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where you put it, but
Oh, one
Could
last
definitely use
question. I'm
one.
glad you said that.
Yeah,
Any
Upper Western
plans?
Boulevard.
Any plans for future paving of the parking lot? Boy,
Oh,
it's
it
getting
needs
kinda
it.
rough.
I know. So you just heard me say the building is 50 years
Yes,
old. So
yes.
a lot of the component things that are out there
Yes.
are 50 years old too. So right now we're trying to.
Do we need to help get you some money?
Oh, I love that.
Okay. Asphalt companies, anytime you asphalt guys have got some extra asphalt, instead of dumping it somewhere, take it over to the hospital, spread it in the holes.
I think
That's just my suggestion.
that's a good idea. I
Not a
like
bad
that.
idea.
I do
actually.
like that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so
We
much, Rayford. I
appreciate it.
appreciate it.
Okay. Now we got to do a little bit of weather.
Oh,
Some other stuff as well. The marine weather outlook out to 20 nautical miles. That's 23 miles for some of you. Kelly. A bit of topsy-turvy weather for the next few days. Northeasterly winds today, 15 to 20 knots. Gusts going to be up to 25 this morning. Seas 4 to 6 feet, 2 to 4 near shore. Sounds and rivers choppy. Tomorrow, northeasterly winds 10 to 15. Seas 3 to 5 feet. 2-footers near shore. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop. Thursday, southwesterly winds 20 to 25 knots. Seas 5 to 7. Sounds and rivers are going to be rough.
okay. Today, guys, it's going to rain. The high will be 45. It's going to be cold.
Yes, it is
Because it was
cold
so warm
already.
last week.
Brr.
It was so warm this weekend,
We
and
got used
this
to it.
45 is going to feel just brutal.
Mhm.
Luckily, it won't be windy, but it's just going to be rainy and gross. Tonight, cloudy, still some rain. Tomorrow, cloudy, a high of 53, with only a 40% chance of rain tomorrow. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, 50. The winds are going to kind of pick up. And what is so bizarre and weird, so notice I said 45, 53 tomorrow. Thursday, it's actually going to be 74. Now, it's going to rain,
It's always
and
a
it's
warm
going to be
rain.
windy and 24-mile-an-hour
It's
gusts.
a blustery wet.
But what
warm
is
day.
even more bizarre for that, it goes back down to 53 on Friday. We're going to have one warm day.
It goes snow
and
over
it
the
drops.
weekend. No, I'm
No, it's
kidding. I'm
not.
kidding, y'all.
It's
It
going
will,
to
but
rain
not here.
Saturday night.
What? You said
Oh, Sunday's going to be
I
73.
swear.
I did, but not here.
Oh, it's going to rain Sunday too. Oh, man.
it's
Stay inside.
Yeah.
I just had something I wanted to try to do Sunday afternoon outside, but it's
And get a raincoat.
so, yeah. Lee, you and I were talking last night when those two jets collided. And we were talking about, who owned, like Vince Neil owned one. I was just reading that his girlfriend was on the plane. She had
Yeah.
5 broken ribs.
Yes, but the
Like-
dogs were okay.
Yeah, they
but-
had dogs, and then her friend was injured too. They didn't say it.
Well,
Well,
Motley Crue put out a statement last night.
Oh, did they?
saying
Okay.
It was their pilot that was killed.
it was their. I figured it
Yes.
had to have been a pilot. I was like,
Yes.
At that location.
Well, you could
Pretty
see where they
I watched the
hit.
thing. That thing hit
That
like
video.
good gracious.
We got a caller.
Oh, we did.
Yes, we did. Good morning. How are you?
Hey guys, I have
There
a
he
quick
is.
question. I wanted to ask your medical professional a question. She's gone, correct?
Yes.
Yes. What's up?
So you guys obviously you just interviewed her, so you have an assessment. You can basically you have an understanding of where she stands on certain issues, correct?
Right.
We understand she's an administrator. Okay. She's a nurse by trade. Her doctorate degree is in hospital administration. So what, she's
So
a
here's my
business
question.
person.
And I wanted to ask, and it's a very controversial type question. I wanted to ask her her opinion or her thoughts on sexual reassignment surgery. Basically, the procedure that changes a person's appearance.
Yeah.
To go for their gender identity. If you had to guess, and you can't speak for her.
No, I
Do
wouldn't
you
even
think that she?
try, but go ahead. I don't know what she would think.
You guys, okay, and you can't speak for her, but you could say, you know what, Charlie, in my opinion, if I had to guess, I would say that she's for it or against it. What would you say?
I have no idea. What?
I don't have any idea, but I would say that with a little bit of background, with her husband being a Marine, her late husband being a Marine pilot, I would think that she's going to be leaning towards the conservative element. They can't say for sure. I mean, it could go either way. But and she's spent her entire life, I think, or at least her professional life in the South. I would think she's probably going to be leaning conservative in that direction.
But I thought
I'm
gender
very
assignment
impressed.
surgery at bigger hospitals. I don't
Well,
think
won't
it would be
happening
done at
here.
this hospital
No, it's not going to be
anyway,
happening here
Yeah.
anyway.
because we don't have the capacity.
Mm-mm.
That's like major
Okay, let
surgery.
me ask you guys. Let me ask you your guys' thoughts.
Mhm.
Do you believe that let's say up until the age of 18, do you think like a 17, 16, 18-year-old, a child, it's a boy that wants to be a girl, which is, listen, all of us have our own thoughts that go through our head. Sometimes we're all confused. Do you think that that someone at that age has an ability to say, listen, I'm not a boy, I'm a girl, or I'm not a girl, I'm a boy? Do you think that's possible?
Before they answer and before I answer, let's get rid of that 18-year-old, because the 18-year-old is an adult by law. He or she can make their own decisions in most cases. They can't buy beer, they can't buy cigarettes, but they can make other decisions on their own. Under 18, Kelly?
Well, are you saying for surgery or just identity?
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you guys this. And I'm not playing the game. I'm not trying to be Mr. Sunny Boy. Do you guys have anybody in your family or anybody that you know, the kids that have gender type issues where they're confused about their sexuality and they think that they're not? And I would never say anything horrible about them. But do you have people in your lives that you know that are? I don't even know how to word it, actually.
My
have clients.
family is leaning ultra conservative, and I know I won't have anybody in my family that I know of. It would have to be a really distant relative because the rest of us are fairly close. I would say no on my side. Do I know anybody leaning that direction? No, I don't.
I do. They're not a child, but I do have a couple of kids that are that way. Yes.
How old are they? And listen, I don't want to like
Teenagers, young teenagers, like around
that's
14.
Gotta be really conflicting. No, that's got to be very conflicting for them. I don't actually have empathy for these individuals. Who would want to go through life experiencing that? Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing that I would be concerned with. We know that those ages of 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, they're volatile ages, right?
Very much.
Well, Kelly can talk about that one, but they're volatile ages. I'm not sure that somebody at that age, if they made that, I mean, it's a once in a lifetime decision. You do it, you're done. There's not a whole lot of coming back from that one. I wonder how many of those would change their mind. People that age, I mean, I changed my mind several times, not about that particular topic, but even the kind of food that I like to eat. I changed my mind many times during those years about the kinds of food that I hated.
Well, I have an issue with teenagers around that age. A lot of parents, not a lot, some parents are giving them hormone blockers. I think it's too young. I don't agree with it. I just don't. And I think it is becoming in North Carolina. I don't know. They were talking about not allowing it. I don't know if it, in terms of like a state law, I don't know if it has occurred, but I don't agree with that. And the worst part about it is a lot of times for these kids being right now, especially in middle schools, being what you would call trans or what it's like trendy. Like some of these kids really aren't, but it's trendy.
I'm a lesbian, they've said.
Yeah, I'm trans or I'm this. Call me by this name, whatever. There are some kids, and I have a client that truly is that way. Okay, and we're working on that. But some of them, this is just trendy, and these kids are jumping on the bandwagon, and that's cool. That's why it gets concerning when parents put their kids on these hormone blockers. Or luckily we don't do surgery on kids here in North Carolina, but it would be. I could see the potential for huge mistakes being made on that. In other states, it is happening, and I disagree with it.
What do you think, Charlie?
Well, Kim, that was just you speaking, correct?
It was Kelly.
Kelly, I apologize.
That's fine.
Are you a therapist?
Yes.
You asked me what I think. I think, during your teens, all of us were sexual during our teens. We all have feelings. We all go through the sexual phases. I don't know. Kelly, obviously, she has experience in this. I don't know. I don't know. I can't articulate. I don't know.
Did you have any feelings when you were, 10 years old or maybe up to 14 or 15? Did you, you were born a male, I presume, right?
Yes.
Okay. So did you have any feelings?
You want me to be very honest with you?
Yeah.
I was surrounded by monsters in my childhood. Monsters. But I'm heterosexual, but no, I was surrounded by some very sick human beings because I didn't have I grew up in foster homes, children homes, orphanage type facilities, type places. But yeah, you know how it is. Here's how life works. When you don't have a voice and you're thrown into the human beings are horrible. Unless you have a lot of money around you and you can afford, here's the reality. All three of you, I'm watching you right now, you're all going to die someday. You're going to be 80 years old. You're going to want to be in a facility where you're fully protected, where you're not beaten, you're not sexually abused, you're not taken advantage of. But here's the reality is, if you don't have that kind of money, you're going through a life of hell. That's just how life works. It's just a reality.
Some of us have families, though.
Well, but you hope your family is there for you. Is your family going to take care of you? Let's say let's say you have a stroke tomorrow and you end up in a facility
Mhm.
and you've got 10 years left of your life. Is your family going to be there for you? Are they going to go there and inspect the facility that you're in? Are they going to talk to every staff member that's taking care of you? Are they going to make sure? Are they going to be diligent? Are they going to make sure that you're fully protected? Chances are they're not, because human beings are horrible. Me, I've got a few friends in my life. If they ended up in a horrible situation, I'm going to protect them till death's end. I'm going to protect them. I'm going to make sure. I'm going to know what they had for lunch. I'm going to make sure who's taking care of them.
Mhm.
I'm going to be diligent. I'm going to be just fervent protecting them. But no. I grew up around monsters.
Well, I did not grow up around monsters, and I took care of my family, and my wife and I took care of my family in their passing years, and no doubt.
So let me ask you a question.
Let me finish. Now, let me finish. You didn't let me. What I was going to say. Okay. You asked me a question, so I'm going to answer it. I am absolutely sure that as long as my wife is capable of taking care of me, she will do that. I know for a fact that my daughter, oh my God, if I'm in a facility, she's going to be in there with her gun to make sure life is good for me. So I'm comfortable in that feeling. Yes. Now you go ahead.
No. That's great. Do your two co-hosts, if something happens to them, let's say, we're all going to die. Your two co-hosts, are they guaranteed that someone's going to protect them until the last breath on earth? Are they confident of that?
Yes. I've had a conversation with my kids about it, actually. Yes.
And same with me. And that's why also that no matter what your age is, as you get along later in life, you need to make a living will.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to have an agreement with your family or a discussion with your family of what you would like. And I guarantee your family's going to be there for you.
All three of us, Charlie, have taken care of our parents through their time. Okay.
I'm doing it now.
I know you're going through it right now.
Mm-hmm.
But we've all done that. We've been there, got that T-shirt. It's just what we do.
That's right. It's what we do. I did it for my mother.
No, I think that's wonderful, but I just don't trust people for the most part. I think, if you can afford it, you live in a fancy facility where, $90,000 a year and you got the top-notch staff. But if you end up in a facility, here's what I believe. Here's what I think I'm going to end up in. I'm going to end up in some sort of state-run facility where the person is making $35,000 a year. This person probably has so many stresses. Maybe as an alcoholic. They don't want to deal with me defecating on myself. They don't want to deal with me complaining. They're like, listen, Charlie, I don't have time for your crap. I've got 15 other people. I don't know. It is what it is.
Okay. Well, I hope it'll be a better life than that for you.
Oh, no. I obviously I wish something good, but I just think that for the most part, most human beings are horrible. And I don't think you guys agree with that, correct? You guys think that most human beings are good people?
I cannot say that most human beings are horrible. I know the profession that I worked with some of the lowest forms of life on earth who did not deserve to take another breath. That's just a fact of life. But that's just a very small percentage of the people that I've had. Extremely small percentage.
I think anyone, as they go through life, they see the good and the bad in people. And I'm one of those that believe in the glass being half full. I'm very positive in nature. I go with an open mind, and I try not to be negative. But as you get older, you see the good, you see the bad, and you know when to walk away.
Yeah, I'm a realist.
Yes, I'm very much so.
The reason I sit here with my back against a wall and nobody will come through that door that I don't want.
Speaking of such, Kelly and I have something we want to tell you.
I'll leave you guys with this.
Okay.
I call into so many shows. This is the best show ever. You guys have a good day.
All right. Thank you, Charlie. Bye.
You heard your sister said she'll look after you, Rayford.
I know she will.
Kelly and I, speaking of things, we both have had quite a scare individually while sitting in here today. If you just glance over here real quick, what does that look like?
What?
It looks like a body laying across that table.
It is.
Well, I just happened to catch it out of the corner of my eye, and I jumped.
She just jumped too. Do you have a nose her over there like twitching out? Have you not seen her do it?
I mean, all I saw was a
I'm not even
face, and it
laughing at
looked
her.
like. Doesn't it look like a?
Let me ask you
It
this.
scared me yesterday.
Let me ask you,
gosh.
let me ask you
Person.
this. Well, you got to get back over here where you can
wait a
talk
minute.
and respond to me.
want people to see this. This is what's laying across the chair, table, couch over there.
Inadvertently,
And it was laying like it's laying
And it's
down,
laying
yeah.
like sideways.
like, and it looks
I've
at
got
you.
several questions for you. One, did that ever sniff your hair? Answer yes or no.
Oh God, Rayford, gross. No.
Two,
Well, I
have
don't
you
know
ever
nothing
been
about-
around a dead person that hurt you or tried to hurt you?
No,
Okay,
no, but I've
Donald
seen
Trump.
movies where they jump out of the.
that's true too.
that's our movies.
Well, so it makes you think when you go in funeral and there's a body laying there. And let me tell you a real quick story. My sister and I were going to a funeral of a gentleman that they had finally found his remains after a year or so in the woods. He had dementia, Alzheimer's, got lost. So out of respect
That
for the
is something
family.
that should be fearful.
Well, it was during the time that I'm just moving into my new house and my daughter was getting married, all that going on. So anyway, when I read the announcement, I said, we've got to go. They were neighbors of ours. So we went and I signed the book. My sister grabs my hand. No. Well, to make a long story short, the funeral was the night before. And when we went in and the staff at the funeral home asked us who we were there for, we told them
Whoops.
they must have misunderstood us. But we started to walk into the room and there was a body laying in the casket.
Whoops.
Now, had we not been told before we walked into that room, that would have been exceptionally frightening to see a body laying in there when we knew that he had been found.
Just the remains.
Yeah, so things like that happen, Rayford. It's scary. You ever go into a funeral service and you look at the body
We need a little levity here. So here's the
and
greatest thing in the world.
they look like they're getting ready to start laughing.
You
or
know who
something. Yes,
And you know who Jeff
mhm.
Dunham is?
I
Yes,
love him.
the
He
Jimmy
is
guy.
the
I love
greatest
him.
ventriloquist and the
Yes.
greatest comedian
I was
I've ever
freaked.
seen. Period.
I
Bottom
was
line.
so freaked
Okay,
out.
now, one of his dummies, one of his little people, made mention to him one time, you would be funny if you went to a funeral and through your voice.
I'm telling you. Don't you ever fear that's going to happen when you go up and you're kind of looking down and you just like waiting for him to reach up and grab you?
No, I don't. I never.
So I don't like going to him.
Well, I've been, unfortunately, with a lot of recently passed individuals
Yes.
over the decades.
Well, I want
Okay.
to bring up something.
Okay. And I'm going to give you some
Wait a
local news.
I know Rayford's going to trick us. He's going to leave word in his will
Christmas,
that when
yeah.
you and I go up,
Yeah, I know.
that contraption goes off. I know it.
Yesterday, Secretary of Defense Hegseth signed a memo changing the name from Fort Liberty back to Fort Bragg.
Yeah, we
which
had
I
that
never
on our
said.
notes. We never got to that, did we?
But
It's not
there
the
is a
same Fort
twist.
Bragg.
It is actually going to be
It's
named
Chris
after
Marks.
Private First Class Roland Bragg,
Did you take
Who
my
was in-
note?
who was in World War II.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Had
in
nothing
World
to
War
do with the
II.
Civil War.
No,
Nothing to do with the South.
he drove a stolen German ambulance 20 miles to get a wounded soldier to an Allied
Yes.
hospital in Belgium. He received a Purple Heart and a Silver Star
Yay.
He was
Um,
in the Battle of the
of the Bulge, and he was stationed at Fort Bragg. So when
for
all
him.
these yipping yappers start
Yeah.
complaining, he was not in the
I
Civil War.
Get over
He
it,
was in World War
Twinkies.
II.
I think it's genius of
It
what
is
Pete
too.
did.
Oh, I love it
Genius.
I
because
gotta send him
I
a
changed
card
called
it
it
back
Fort
to
Liberty
Fort
anyway.
Bragg.
Changed it back. It's always been
in
Fort
a way
Bragg my
that you
entire
can't
life.
argue with.
Yeah.
It was actually named after in 1923, and it stayed Fort Bragg from 23 to 2023. He was an Army general in the Mexican-American
He
War.
was also in the Civil War.
Yes, and so anyway, I think it was genius of what he did.
It was.
I think it's awesome.
Smart
Okay, we got a
man.
caller. Final caller. Good morning. Who's this?
It's Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Well, you asked for some levity, so I'm going to give you some. Now, some may say you're sick, but it's not really. It's not a sick
I am.
levity. So, you've been to your well, you're at your funeral because you're dead, right?
Yeah.
You don't know who's anybody's up, so who's going to attend your funeral? So here's what I plan to do. I'm going to send out invitations to my funeral.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be held out here at my house on the 1.5 acres. And there's going to be a pig picking. There's going to be refreshments and everything. Chairs will be set up. And I'm going to have a coffin set up along the pond.
Uh-huh.
And then once it begins, I'm going to pop up and go, this is it. This is all the people that came by to say goodbye to me when I pass away. Drink, eat, and be merry. I understand the dead bodies and stuff, but Lee, don't worry about that little thing. It's as harmless as I am.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
But y'all will get an invitation just to see if you'll show up for a pig and I'm very sure you can bring something you make. We'll provide a refreshment. I want to see how many people show up for my funeral. Look, actually, some great news. Mark this on your calendar because I would love to have live and local Real Talk there. March 26th of this year.
Is that familiar?
I will know for sure this afternoon. The location is nailed down, but have made arrangements for the National Wreath Across America educational bus to make a stop here in Eastern North Carolina, in Jacksonville. They don't normally come to Eastern North Carolina, but they're coming here.
About time they get here.
They're going to be, they're going to be here from 10 until 4. Hoping another national sponsors of theirs on Western Boulevard. They will set this bus up. It's an educational bus, and it's going to be an opportunity to have people purchase wreaths.
Good. That's excellent. Okay.
Great.
All right. I will talk to you later about that, today or tomorrow, whenever, and then we're going to work out something for that day.
Yes.
Okay.
I hope we can. We'd love to have you folks out there.
We'll do something before and during.
Awesome.
But we'll work on something.
Oh,
I got a plan.
Awesome.
I'm working on a plan in my head.
I wanted you folks to be the first to know, and you are.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'll have more information tomorrow to nail the location and let everybody know.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, sir.
Thanks. You're welcome.
Take care. Drug officers with the Onslow County Sheriff's Office, some special agents with the NCIS, Jacksonville police officers and agents with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives raided a couple of places in Richlands last week. They seized more than 1,300 grams of meth, 5 grams of fentanyl. That should be armed and dangerous there, right? 5 guns. One of those was reported stolen, a car, and almost $7,000 in cash. A man and a woman were arrested on a variety of drug charges. 42-year-old William Feliciano is charged with 6 counts of felony trafficking meth, felony maintaining a dwelling for a controlled substance, 2 counts of felony possession with intent to sell and deliver, Schedule 2, 2 counts of felony trafficking heroin or opium, 2 counts of felony manufacture of methamphetamine, 2 counts of possession of drug paraphernalia, and there was his partner, 30-year-old Conchetta Starr Dearborn, charged with 3 counts of felony trafficking methamphetamine, 2 counts of felony maintaining a dwelling for a controlled substance, 2 counts of felony possession with intent to sell and deliver, Schedule 2, 2 counts of felony trafficking heroin or opium, felony manufacture of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia times 2. The 2, Feliciano and Dearborn, are in the Onslow County Detention Center. If you got $2.5 million, you can get one of them out.
Yeah.
You got $5 million, you can get both of them out. A Richlands barbershop was damaged when fire broke out Saturday afternoon. Firefighters responded to reports of a house fire about 1 o'clock. When they arrived, they found that the barbershop attached to the home was engulfed in flames. They managed to get it out. No one was at home at the time. The fire was contained to the barbershop. No damage to the living quarters. The cause of the fire still undetermined. The search is continuing for a Mount Olive man whose car was found at Cliffs of the New State Park near Goldsboro. Y'all been up there?
Yes.
23-year-old Antonio Sanchez was last seen last Thursday. Relatives say he liked to fish in the area, but it's not known whether he had taken some time to go fishing or not. Current is very swift in that area. My goodness. My. Okay. Let's see, what time is it? Oh, we still got a little bit of time. What else? All right.
I've got some funny for you if you don't have anything
We're getting to,
else.
we got some funny in a minute.
All right.
We don't need to be content, not now, not ever, on making sure our government never spends our money on anything that doesn't at least pretend to benefit us. You tell me,
Mm-hmm.
where's Serbia? What are the
Over
manufacturers?
yonder?
What are the
Eastern Europe.
manufacturer in Serbia that benefits me, or you, or anybody? Does anybody know any product that comes out of Serbia? Then why do we care about providing DEI money for them? Okay, let's just go there.
I agree.
I want to know where my money goes. That includes any waste that's there. We know it's happening in the Department of Defense on the pretense that we are safer, nor the Department of Justice claiming that they're stopping the drug flow into this country. It doesn't take a mental giant to know better. It's not happening. We have waste. We blow it away. I cleaned that up, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
We, the real Americans, need to make sure that we then elect the right people for all public offices at all levels, from councils, city commissions, to county commissioners, to school boards, to everybody that we have to give money to. I think that a non-government organization like Doge or Doge, whatever, is going to be necessary forever. Keywords: non-government entity, not answerable to Congress or the Senate. A finite budget, preferably manned by a billionaire who doesn't get paid, who has only the good of this country at stake. It should never become as big nor as wasteful as the organization it is inspecting. We should never have an organization so big that it spends more money than the organizations it is going after who are wasting our money. Any attempt to make it part of the government should be rejected. I am not convinced that Dodge should be able to turn down wasteful spending projects. What? I am absolutely sure that all projects so identified should be publicized so the American taxpayers will know where our money goes. Every project projected to be put on the budget should be out there for every one of us to see. I know it's in the budget. It's in every budget, but you heard the congressman. Every
Yes.
bill that he gets is 500 pages long?
Yes.
He can't read it. He doesn't have a staff big enough to read it, digest it, and dissect it. All politicians who want to be elected or reelected would then be fair game for the public and the media to question about these projects. We don't have to have just a Dodge. We have 325 million people in this country that could look at. Not all of them would, but some of them, most of us would look at part of those projects that are presented, and we could challenge them. We could scream and holler. We could campaign against the people who are proposing them, or we could campaign for the people that are proposing projects, right?
Right.
The media, it would be easy, and maybe that's the reason they will never do it. It would be easy pickings for the mainstream media even to go there and look at these projects and say, wait a minute, hold on just a minute. I've known a lot of reporters in my life. I've been one of those. We always took the budgets for a city council and the county commission and the school board. We did everything we could to pick them apart. That was our job. That's what y'all should be doing. That's what we all should be doing. We don't all have the time to do all of them, but all of us have the time to do a little bit. If everybody was assigned one page of the Onslow County budget, what do you think we would do? We could pick that sucker apart, couldn't we?
Oh, sure we could.
We could tear it limb from limb if everybody and every taxpayer in Onslow County would take one page of the Onslow County budget and go over it. And I'm not just picking on Onslow County. City council, every city council in Onslow County. the school board in Onslow County. We could find something in there that we would want to question.
I agree with that.
Why not publicize it? Why don't we put all these papers on bulletin boards out there, not on the internet? Put them behind glass so people can walk by and look at them. So reporters could have something they could actually see in writing, and maybe we could underline them. Maybe we could highlight them, put highlights there for, hey, these are things that concern us.
Right.
Maybe then we, the people in this country, would be in charge again and not turn our country over to the people that we have turned it over to.
I agree.
The reason that we have had to, that Donald Trump has had to be elected. My God, why do we have to elect that man? But we had to.
We didn't have to. We did.
We had no choice but to elect this person. Somebody had to get in there and at least start the ball rolling.
Okay.
And so what did he do?
We
He
did.
got a guy that we all say, oh my God, where did he pick that name from and why? Elon Musk.
So far, he's kept all his campaign promises too.
And but we got a guy in there who's already uncovered enough waste to probably cause some of us never to have pay taxes again in our lives if it were to be channeled back to us.
I say give him the keys to every government building in the United States and let him go.
Okay, now you got something that's funny so we can leave on something
No,
funny.
just wait.
I
It's
want
too
something
late.
happy.
It's too late.
Why?
We'll go into, it's just Kathy Marks brought up something when she was talking about the crazy laws. So I found some that were very entertaining. She got me looking and, thanks, Kathy. But there were some
We
really
can go
funny
some
ones.
of the, instead of the dumbest crooks, we can go with the weirdest laws.
Well, we could just add it to the dumbest crooks.
All right, tomorrow's Wednesday.
It
Got
is.
Dr. Rosemary Stein.
Yes.
It's hump day.
and
Let's do it, Lee.
Peter Wright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
We
need
got
a
Mr.
camel.
Wright.
Yeah,
for you.
we need a,
We
Ladies,
need our camel.
ladies,
Yeah, we
Mr.
do.
Wright will be here tomorrow.
that's right. Mr. Wright will
Well,
be
then Mr. Wright won't be wrong.
Mr. Wright is never wrong.
True that.
Phew,
If he was Chinese, he'd be Mr. Wong. No,
Okay.
don't do
Mr.
that.
Wong.
Don't make Raven stop these crazy, ridiculous.
I don't know.
Jokes.
He
Don't get
ranted
him going.
all night long on Skype about the money being spent. He was on a
I was
roll
hot last night
night.
looking at all that stuff. I'm
Mhm.
still hot.
He
about
says,
it.
"You wait
I
till I
got-
get into the studio."
I
I'm
tell
like,
you
So
what.
aggravated.
I'm glad all three of us happen to be, ironically, coincidentally, I
Mhm.
don't believe in too many coincidences, but this was a coincidental situation. The three of us came in primed, locked, and loaded,
Well, you
aiming
know,
at the same target.
when I think about the hours, and when I went into management, I was working 60 to 70 hours. Kelly knows what I'm talking about. She puts in those kind of hours. And I was salary, so I really didn't get overtime. But when you
I've
think
been there.
about how much overtime, when you did make overtime and the taxes you paid on that, and where did that money go? To buy condoms in Gaza. To send out.
I don't know. Has that been
transgender
debunked
books.
yet?
No, it's right there on the
Okay.
list.
Okay. Well,
You know, I mean, I'm
Mhm.
like, I worked my tail to the bone and paid extra taxes, and this is where every American should be outraged. Over
I'll tell you,
all of
when the
this.
mics are off, instead of condoms, what they can do.
I can imagine. Yep. Okay. Everyone should be outraged over this. Everyone should support. I don't care if it's Elon. I don't care who it is. People need to support somebody going in there and getting us the
Yep.
truth.
Okay, we will see you tomorrow with Dr. Rose and Peter Wright. So hang in there for that. On Thursday this week, do not forget, we got a couple of special guests from the city of Jacksonville that you're going to really enjoy. It's going to be a fun time for one and all. Okay, very interesting too, because there will be really special. Well, two of us have shared it, ready to share it. So we'll talk about that on Thursday. Meanwhile, what are y'all looking at? You're staring at things.
We're just
looking at me.
checking out our social media and
Would
some of
that-
the comments. We
Have
had
I got
some new
something
I gotta
wrong?
go to work.
Have I
Yeah,
got my
we-
shirt on backwards or something?
we had some new people jump on. Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you.
you're
very
live and
much.
local, real talk. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and we do appreciate you.
Excuse me.
We're always awake here. We're never woke. We'll see you
That's
tomorrow
right.
morning.
Bye.
Be safe.